Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be designing a phone case for the Google Pixel 9 XL Pro in FreeCAD and 3D printing it. So those of you who are FreeCAD users will know that FreeCAD recently released version 1.0, which is their most refined and polished version to date. Coincidentally, I also recently got a Google Pixel 9 XL on a Black Friday deal, and I did not purchase a phone case for it because I was just thinking I could go online and find an STL and 3D print one. And that's what I did when I got home. I got home and searched the Google for a STL of the Pixel 9 XL, and I found two models, neither of which I really liked. I tried printing one in PETG. Didn't really like it. Didn't come out really well. Was too thin to really print well, in my opinion. And the other one was meant for TPU, and I just don't have any colors of TPU that I wanted to use. So I decided I was going to model my own and do a quick little video of it. So what I'm doing here is modeling up the phone just off of some quick Google reference dimensions in the phone that I have and a pair of calipers to get started modeling up this case. And if you're unfamiliar with FreeCAD specifically, and maybe you're coming over from another CAD program, the sketcher is going to be where you draw the 2D shape, such as I'm doing here, and then extrude it into the boss of the shape that you want to continue to build, whatever part that you're modeling. FreeCAD 1.0 is definitely more refined than previous iterations. There's still a handful of bugs here and there, but definitely works better than it did in previous versions. And now that we got the phone modeled, we're going to go ahead and start modeling the case. Once again, using the Sketcher and Part Design tool. And obviously, the phone case needs to be slightly larger than the phone itself, so the phone will fit nicely inside of the phone case. So what we're going to do is go ahead and basically plug in the same dimensions we used to model the phone, except just a hair bigger in the length, width, and height, so that the phone will rest neatly inside the phone case. And I'm going to do that by laying out the basic shape that I'm doing here, and then turning this into what's called a construction geometry. And basically what I did to make sure the phone would seat nicely in the phone case was I added about a ½ mm to every dimension in length and width, so that there was a little bit of space for the phone to slip into the case. And so this video is not 3 hours long. I went ahead and skipped ahead to the point where I felt I was pretty solid with this case. Gonna go ahead and add some radii, and then we're gonna do the test fit to the model that we CAD'd up. In the assembly workbench, we're going to do basically a dry fit of the model we did of the phone to the CAD case to make sure we got everything right, and we like how all the buttons and charging ports and speakers and such line up to the case. And we'll just speed this clip up a little bit to keep things rolling. There we have it. Our phone is now fit into the case, so let's take a look. Yeah, I don't exactly like how that's lined up. I must have done something wrong on the case there. This is why we do the dry fit on the computer. Um, the edge looks good here. That looks like it's gonna fit well. And then let's take a look at those. Yeah, so those are gonna need to be redone. So we'll hop back into our CAD model of the case and redo that. Alright, so we fixed those little issues with our model. Now everything looks like it's much better lined up, which is perfect. Look at how nice and centered those charging ports and the volume rockers power button are. So we're going to go ahead and make this real life now. And to do that, we've got our CAD model loaded up into Orca Slicer. We're going to print this out on our Adventure 5M 3D printer using Sunlu PETG. Just using the default settings for PETG in Orca Slicer for the Flash Forge, just with the bed adhesion turned up to 80 Celsius. For me on my printer, it seems like turning that heat up helps me get better bed adhesion. And we've got our file all sliced up here, and we are ready to print. In about an hour, we'll have a real physical phone holder for ourselves. And it came out pretty good. Here's our first stab at the phone case for the Pixel 9 XL in PETG. Some print deperfections there, but it's a first attempt. We're going to go back and try to fix some of those later. The phone popped in really easily, as you'll see here. Just got to grab it and pop it in. We can do it with one hand. The bezel that goes around the top, I didn't go all the way around the phone, so I could push it in just like this, since it is PETG and not a flexible TPU. The one issue I had was with the volume rockers, I didn't really leave enough clearance, and they're kind of hard to get to. So we hopped back into FreeCAD, and we're going to add a larger chamfer to that edge and make those reliefs a little bit bigger, just like this. And that'll make the phone case easier and more practical to use that volume rocker and power button on. And once again, we're going to throw that in our assembly and check that fitment before we go ahead and print. And now that it looks like we're happy with attempt number 2, we're going to go ahead and throw it in our slicer, slice it up with the same printer settings, and go ahead and print. So let's go ahead and pop this out of the V1 case for the V2 case. As you can see, I can do that with just one hand, which I think really shows how well that case fits around, just snug enough to the phone, how well it form fits that phone. And just like that, there's our V2 case, almost like I had it pre-printed and ready to go. And this is going to be in Anycubic Blue PETG. Print came out looking really nice off of the Flash Forge. Little bit of a seam there on the top layer, but nothing bad. And we're going to pop in our phone again with one hand, just like in the V1 case. It's going to hold it nice and snug, just like that. And that's V2. Power button and power rocker. Power button and volume rocker, much more easily accessible. Came out really well. So if you want this file of the phone case, it'll be available on my website, www.3dprintandmolds.com. This model of a beer can belt holster will also be available on my website, trying to do some different things here. So if you like what I do, go ahead, check out my website, purchase these CAD files, go ahead, print them yourself. Even some fishing lures, trying to branch out, do a couple different things here. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.